Thinking of selling your house this year? Today, we're going to go over how to prepare your place so you can get the best price when you list it. Thanks for joining us here on Couple Money. I'm Elle Martinez. Selling your house, especially when it's your first place, can be overwhelming. Even in a seller's market like we have here in Raleigh, North Carolina, you still have plenty of work to do. You have to fix up your space, you have to stage your home and have it ready for showings. And then even after you have an offer that's accepted, there's still some back and forth with the buyers until you wrap it up at closing. And let's not forget, we have this added layer of social distancing and safety that we all have to practice while we're still dealing with the coronavirus. However, selling your home at the best price can be worth it and a huge advantage to hitting your financial and family goals, which is why I'm so happy that Mariella Guillama joins us today. She's an award-winning real estate agent and broker from Daymark Realty, which is owned by a coastal credit union. If Daymark sounds familiar, it's because we've worked with them when we sold our first home and for buying our current home. We've been incredibly happy with the service and would absolutely recommend them. While I'm chatting with her, we get into some key topics that you need to know as a seller. We'll talk about finding the best price to list your home, what mistakes to avoid so you're not wasting your time or money, and how to prepare your place so that potential buyers will be wowed and you can get top dollar. We got a lot to cover, so I hope you enjoy. I appreciate you waking up a little early to chat about an important topic, which is selling your home. For us, when we were selling our old place, there were so many things that we didn't know about. It was our first home at that time. It can be overwhelming and a complicated process. But one of the first things we struggled with just was trying to figure out how much to sell it for, right? A lot of families, this is going to be a huge financial impact for that price. And they want to get a good price, but at the same time, they want to be realistic. I've talked to some people, and you've probably with clients seen where they think that what they bought the house for and what they put into the house is automatically like that's going to be the price, whether things in the market has changed. Can you take me high level? How do you figure out what is a good price to put the house for a market on?
Yeah. So the first thing definitely as a seller, what you want to do is reach out to a real estate agent to do what they call a CMA, a comparative market analysis. They're going to take into consideration comparables. In my case, what we do is we definitely want to get comparables sales in your immediate neighborhood first. Okay, so we want to look in your subdivision first. If there's nothing in your subdivision, then we go outside your subdivision. We're not appraisers, of course, but I worked closely with an appraiser early on in my career, so I learned some things from him. So in your subdivision first, if not, you go outside your subdivision, depending on what type of area you live in. If you live in an area that's in the city, in a HOA, so the max we want to go out is 2 miles. And when you gather 3 or 4 comparables, then you start making adjustments. You're looking at adjustments anywhere from condition of your home compared to the sales, number of bathrooms. We never make adjustments on bedrooms because that is based on square footage.
Oh, okay.
So we're always going to do an analysis based on square footage. But bathrooms, definitely, number of bathrooms, you're going to get an adjustment. Of course, condition, like I said, if you have any updates, we definitely take that into consideration. Lot size, we can't give you as a seller the same value of a home that has, if you have a quarter of an acre and then a comparable has an acre, we have to make a negative adjustment on your home. So there is a process that we take to determine price on a house.
Yeah, I think one of the big takeaways for me is how objective that analysis is. I think on our side, homeowners or, home sellers, we have this emotional attachment. And so we're like, I've been here for so many years. This is a great neighborhood. And so in your mind, you're thinking, hey, this is going to be this price. But I think that's why it's so important to have a partner. If you have a real estate agent who's very knowledgeable at the local area. That makes a huge
Right.
difference because you kind of need that objective pair of eyes to tell you,
Right.
hey, that decoration, you did this update, but this is not what the market wants, or this is not
Right.
what people are using it for, to kind of temper your expectations.
Yeah, and the fact, if you're working with an agent that also works with a lot of buyers, they know what buyers are looking for. They work with buyers closely. They hear their comments. They see what they like, what they don't like. So, that experience is good for a listing agent to bring into a seller. Most buyers don't like the shocking paint color. You'll have to neutralize that, things like that. Yeah, in terms of comparables, there is a process that we take because the goal is for your home to appraise. When you sell your home, a buyer you can be asking whatever you want for your home, and you may find a buyer that's willing to pay it. But once you get to the point of the appraisal, which is the lender, sends an appraiser out there, and the home doesn't appraise, and you're back at square one. So the goal is always for the home to appraise, to continue going forward to closing.
Many home sellers, they're looking to get the most money, and they're looking for any tip to save. And one of the things people say is you have to list it, certain time of year is better, or it could be day of the week. I've seen everything on the internet. When you're putting your house for sale, how much of is that true? What should you consider when you're deciding when's the best time to put it up for the market?
So right now in this crazy market today, okay, like now, any day, winter, typically everybody, people believe that spring is the best time. But if you do a little bit more research, and in my case, I always recommend to put the home on the market maybe a little bit before spring. Why? Because you have less competition. Okay. Spring, everybody wants to put their house in springtime. So if you do it maybe at the late winter, okay, you're going to have more interest in your house, right? Because there's less competition. Right now there's no competition. It's a seller's market, but in a typical market, I would say put it on the market a little bit before springtime.
Yeah. And I do appreciate you mentioning in this market, we're in Raleigh, North Carolina, because it does vary where you are. Like we mentioned before we started recording, my mom, different part of North Carolina, and it's a totally different market. It's a buyer's market down there, it seems. And here is the seller. But even though you are, in a great market, say if you're a seller, you're here in Raleigh, there's still some things that you could do to maximize your price. So do you have any tips for potential sellers? Like, what do they need to do now to prepare their house? What projects or what updates? You mentioned like neutralizing maybe the paints if they have some bold color choices.
Yeah, so neutralize your paint. That's key. I know it sounds boring, but most buyers don't react very well to shocking colors. That's a personal choice, right? When you paint your dining room, maybe a dark color or a bright color. So you want to depersonalize. And I know everybody has heard that in HGTV, and it's true. So neutral paint, I always tell my sellers to professionally clean their carpets. Okay. One thing I always recommend in terms of carpet is to try and go the dry route instead of the wet route, especially if you have pets. If you go the wet route, you may just start an odor. The odors may just come out of the carpet. Unfortunately, I learned that the hard way with a past customer of mine that I was selling their condo. At the last minute, she decided to clean her carpets the wet method. She had a large pet, a large dog. And the day before closing, the buyer requested a credit towards the carpet. But definitely you want to neutralize the paint, the carpet. If you're looking in the kitchen, if you have a coil range, I would recommend to replace that with at least one of those clear glass, the glass top ranges. Other than that, I think, and definitely matching appliances help as well.
Yeah, I think you bring up good points. I was helping my mom out. She had a pre-existing condition, so I was her eyes and ears when she was buying a home last year of all years. Even though as a buyer, maybe your objective, you're like, these are my must-haves and things I like. Just being in the space, if you don't prepare it for showing changes. When I was talking with her realtor, I don't want her to pay more than this, because I felt if they didn't take care of the condition of their home, I want a lower price so she could have more money to maybe fix it up or have a buffer. I mean, those things, and maybe structurally they were fine, but if they're not taking care of details, like the carpet was much older, the cabinets weren't aligned, like those little things that you could do before that doesn't cost a lot of money, definitely puts a better impression. I do want to talk to you about that line where you as a seller want to fix it up enough that it sells for a reasonable price, but you don't want to put a ton of money, because I think some people go the opposite route where they're like, well, if I put this in, I'm going to immediately get that money out. Have you seen like any mistakes with that with sellers? How do you kind of nudge them in the right direction of where to spend their time and effort?
If you're talking about a single family home, you want to have for sure your exterior in good condition. Okay. Because when the buyer goes to your home with their agent, they're going to be looking at the exterior as well. If they see that the exterior hasn't been maintained in a proper way, they're going to start wondering what else may be wrong with the home. I think cosmetic wise will go a long way. You're not going to get 100% back of what you put into the house right before putting it on the market. But how that helps you is getting more money for your house, either full price or in this market over the asking price, if your home is presentable. Once a buyer walks in through the home and they start looking, oh, the home needs carpet, the home needs paint, they start deducting automatically in their minds off your purchase price. And many times their deductions are not realistic. They don't. They may think that the carpet's to replace is going to cost $5,000. In reality, it may just cost $2,000. So they start deducting, and then when they get to the next house that they're looking at, and that house doesn't need as much updating, then yours automatically gets kicked off that list. So you want to stay at least, at the top of the list so they can decide to go with your home. But so getting it ready for the market with paint. Now, if your carpet is old, then the recommendation is to replace it, just in full. So paint, carpet, your appliances need to be clean and in good condition. Kitchen cabinets, what I tell my sellers is if they're dated, replace the doors. Just replace the cabinet doors, okay? If anything, if you want to paint the cabinets, the cabinet boxes, but replace the doors, the cabinet doors, and that'll go a long way and it'll save you a lot of money. I believe that you will get more for your house if you do some of these updates.
Yeah. You have a lot of great tips, Mariella, and I know there are people who are thinking of putting their house on the market and now they have a checklist. So let me do some stuff around the house. But we do have listeners in the Raleigh Triangle area, and they are looking for a real estate agent and a partner for them for selling their home. So if any of them want to reach out to you or to Daymark, what's the best way they could do that?
Yep. They can go to Daymark's website, which is www.daymarkrealty.com. Our office number is 919-882-6700, or they can also call my office, which is 919-744-2703. We're on social media too. You can reach out to us there. We're ready to help.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a crazy market, but we're happy with our home, and my mom is happy. She's 10 minutes away. She's right on the Raleigh-Knightdale border. So, I mean, it's a great area.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great area.
That is a great area. I think Knightdale is a great area because it's so close to Raleigh, and you can still, it's still affordable.
Yes, which is a key issue for a lot of families. So there's some great spots, and it's great to have someone local who knows the area inside and out to guide you to those neighborhoods. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great morning.
Oh, you too. It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for joining us. If you have any more questions about selling your home or you're in the market to buy a home, please leave your questions in the comments. I read them and it helps me prepare episodes that would be most beneficial for you, hitting your own family and financial goals. If you want to know when new videos are released, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day.